Well, the details have just been finalized for a second GOP primary debate. We now know it's going to air September 27th on Fox Business, Univision, and Rumble. Meanwhile, GOP presidential hopefuls have been active on the campaign trail preparing for the first debate, which is just 2 weeks away. But no matter where they go, Trump continues to dominate the conversation.
Donald Trump, in my view, it's time to stay home.
President Trump was wrong.
Trump's transition, they didn't have people lined up. The bureaucrats were running the show.
To help us break down the GOP messaging, we're going to bring in CBS News political contributor and Democratic strategist Joel Payne. Also with us is former RNC spokesperson and founder of Protan Public Affairs, Kevin Sheridan. So, Kevin, let me begin. I have a couple of questions here. I want to start specifically with Ron DeSantis, the messaging. He's polling in second place behind President Trump. His whole messaging has been largely centered about this anti-woke, right? Go woke, go broke. He loves to say it. Is that working for him?
Well, the problem is every candidate in this race is anti-woke, so you've got to differentiate a little bit.
Well, but he's the one behind Trump. I mean, if looking at him, the only one who stands arguably a chance, is that working?
Well, his latest attacks on Trump have been that it's a series of unfulfilled promises. So if you want the agenda that Donald Trump promised, vote for Ron DeSantis. That's where he's going now. He's making that case. I don't know that it will be enough. Yeah. It's a pretty good argument, and he can go down the litany on the border, on on the debt. So he's got real policy issues there. But the problem is the Republican Party voters seem right now to be wedded to the idea of avenging Trump. And until that something changes, and something could change, DeSantis is now doing hostile interviews. And if he gets a viral moment in one of those interviews, I think he could start bumping into cutting into that lead a little bit. And he's going to have a really, really strong debate performance in a couple of weeks.
Hey, Joel, I want to ask you about the special election in Ohio we've been talking about for the past couple of days, and you know the outcome of it. Overwhelmingly, more people than expected came out for this special election that had to do with the ability to change the Constitution, the state constitution. But the reason the country has been watching it is because there was an expectation that they will try in fall to enshrine abortion rights. I'm wondering, from your perspective, do you think that abortion rights is going to be a challenge for some of these GOP candidates? They may be able to emerge from kind of the early state primaries really, really strong, but as they push into the general election, is it going to be, challenging to figure out the right messaging that's going to appeal to a general population?
Yeah, Marie, your question, I think, kind of answers itself. Yeah, I think, Republicans are finding that the small bubble that they operate in within the enclave of the Republican primary and Republican clubs across the country that have been waiting for Roe versus Wade to be overturned and waiting for this new era of abortion politics, they weren't ready for it. And they've consistently lost. They lost in Ohio this week. They lost in Kansas last year. They've lost in other places that you'd expect Republicans to do well on an issue like abortion rights. And I think it just reflects really not doing the advanced thinking to consider, okay, what's our answer going to be in a world post-Dobbs? And Republicans have not been able to land on that. And in a Republican primary for the president, they are all running to the right of MAGA. Now, that's fine in a state like Iowa, and in a Republican primary in a state like Iowa, where it's loaded with evangelical voters. But when you get out into a general election with a country that continues to say, no, stop restricting abortion rights, stop restricting my reproductive rights, that's not going to play well. So whoever you are, whether you're the most moderate of that bunch, whether you're a Tim Scott or a Nikki Haley or a Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, that's not going to play well.
Joel, I'm going to ask you the same question. I mean, how do these candidates navigate, to Joel's point, sorry, did I say Joel twice? Kevin, to Joel's point, when we're talking about Iowa, we're talking about a significant evangelical vote in the primaries, but that's not necessarily the case, across the country. What choices do GOP candidates have?
It's a very tough issue for Republican candidates. And Joel's right. There was not a lot of thought put into what they're going to say when Roe was finally overturned. Now, it's working itself out in state by state, and in a state like Iowa, where it's very evangelical, Ron DeSantis is out there, for instance, saying, "Look, the Democrat position of abortion on demand to the end of a pregnancy is the extreme position," and so he's trying to emphasize that. he's going to have to take the same message to New Hampshire voters, a different set of voters, and nuance that. And it's not an easy issue, though. This is a tough issue, and it's a tough issue because voters don't generally want to talk about abortion. They don't want to think about abortion. It's a very difficult issue, and it's going to get worked out in states, and it may take a decade or more.
I think a lot of people in Ohio would tell you they want to talk about abortion based on what's happening. Joel, do you think, what issues do you think GOP candidates are arguably ignoring that they're going to have to address if they end up making it to the general election?
So look, I think here's what we're kind of talking around. If this election between now and November of 2024 is about Donald Trump, January 6th,
Yep.
if it's about about kind of relitigating the 2020 election, and if it's about abortion rights, Joe Biden and Democrats are going to win. And I don't want to say they're going to win easily. Easily is not that attainable in this era of politics, but they're going to win more comfortably than I think some prognosticators would imagine. If the election is about the economy and about Joe Biden's age and about questions about the future of the Democratic Party, it's going to be easier for the Republicans to win. That's the bottom line here. So if you're a Republican competing against Donald Trump, you have to ask yourself, when is the time to take the seal off the container and to really open up the Trump issue and expose it to that primary electorate and force a tough conversation? I am a big fan of primaries, and I'm on the outside of a lot of Democrats because some Democrats are afraid of primaries. I'm actually not. I'm a big fan of primaries because I think that they reveal things and they allow parties to have tough conversations. I think this is a time for the Republican primary electorate to sort out this issue of Donald Trump in the 2020 election and to put it to bed for good. They just have expressed no desire to do so.
All right, Joel Payne and Kevin Sheridan, thank you so much, gentlemen.